Hello and welcome to the Alcohol Recovery Show, where we discuss practical, actionable steps for anyone who wants to achieve their dream of getting and staying well, happy and free from any form of alcohol dependence. Hello and welcome to the Alcohol Recovery Show. Today I want to talk about something that can be surprisingly powerful in recovery. The idea of a mid-year reset. We often associate fresh starts with January. But you know what? This has never made sense to me. It's the coldest, darkest, wettest, most miserable time of the year. And that's when we're encouraged to make resolutions, give things up, become healthier, sort out our finances, repair our relationships, and transform ourselves into entirely new people. But recovery doesn't follow the calendar. You don't have to wait until January to make a change. And you don't have to wait until Monday. And you certainly don't have to wait until your drinking gets worse, or your health deteriorates, or another relationship is damaged before you pause and take stock. Any day can become a turning point, and sometimes the middle of the year is the perfect time to stop. So today I'm going to suggest that you look honestly at where you are and gently choose a new direction. So you can begin by asking yourself, how are you really doing? Perhaps you started the year determined to stop drinking. Maybe you completed dry January and felt hopeful, but gradually slipped back into old habits. Perhaps you reduced your drinking for a while, but stressful events, loneliness, boredom, or social pressure slowly pulled you back in. You may already be in recovery, but perhaps lately you felt unsettled. You might not have picked up a drink, but perhaps you've stopped going to supportive recovery meetings, or stopped talking honestly to people, or stop doing the simple things that helped you stay grounded. Sometimes a relapse begins long before the first drink. There are other episodes on the Alcohol Recovery Show that discuss this phenomenon. It might actually begin when we become isolated, when we stop asking for help, when we convince ourselves that we should be able to cope alone. Or when we become so busy looking after everyone else that we neglect our own emotional well-being. A mid-year recovery reset gives us the opportunity to ask one simple question. How am I really doing? Not how do I appear to be doing, or not what I tell other people, or how I think I should be doing, but how am I really doing? A reset is not an admission of failure. The word reset can sometimes sound as though everything has gone wrong and we need to start from the beginning. But that's not what I mean. A reset's certainly not a punishment or evidence that you failed. It's just a pause. It's a chance to notice what's working, what's not working, and what you might need to do differently. You might have already heard the saying that recovery is about progress, not perfection. And that sounds simple, but it can be difficult to live by. Many people struggling with alcohol have perfectionistic thinking. We tell ourselves that if we cannot stop completely and forever, there's no point in even trying. If we drink after a period of sobriety, we may think everything we've achieved has been lost. If we have one difficult evening, we decide the whole week is ruined. This all or nothing thinking can keep us trapped. One drink does not have to become a weekend of drinking. A lapse does not have to become a full-on relapse. A difficult month does not erase all the progress you've made before it. You are allowed to stop, reflect, and begin again. Look back with curiosity, not shame. When reviewing your relationship with alcohol, Try to avoid turning the process into an exercise in self-criticism. Because the thing is, shame rarely creates sustainable change. And instead, approach yourself with curiosity. You might ask, when have I felt most tempted to drink? What emotions have I been trying to escape? Which situations have made alcohol feel especially appealing? When have I found it easier not to drink? Who helps me feel safe, honest, and supported? What routines have helped me in the past? You may notice that your drinking increases when you're lonely, or perhaps you drink when you feel angry, but you don't know how to express it. Maybe you drink when you're exhausted, overwhelmed, or resentful. You might drink because you feel you deserve a reward, or because alcohol is the only reliable way you know how to switch off. These observations are not reasons to judge yourself, but just information, and information gives choices. One of the simplest tools in recovery is the acronym HALT. It asks us to notice whether we are hungry, angry, lonely, tired. These states can make us much more vulnerable to cravings and impulsive decisions. Sometimes, what feels like an overwhelming urge to drink is actually a need for food, rest, comfort, connection, or emotional release. So before acting on a craving, pause and ask yourself, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? And then respond to the actual need. Perhaps today you could choose just one recovery action. When people decide to change their relationship with alcohol, they sometimes create a huge list of things they must do. Stop drinking forever, exercise every day, meditate, eat perfectly, repair every relationship, attend meetings constantly, become more productive. This can all feel so overwhelming that we end up doing nothing. So for your mid-year reset, choose just one recovery action. Perhaps you will attend one support meeting this week, or contact someone you trust and tell them honestly how you've been feeling. Maybe remove all the alcohol from the house, or make an appointment with your doctor, counsellor, or alcohol support service. You might commit to an alcohol-free day and then another. Or you could begin writing down when you drink, how much you drink, and what you were feeling beforehand. So the goal here is not to fix your entire life in one day. The goal is to move one step closer to safety, honesty, and freedom. Another thing that you could do is build a recovery environment. Because we know willpower is unreliable, especially when we feel stressed, tired, or emotionally overwhelmed. And this is why our environment matters. So look at the situations around your drinking. Do you always drink at a particular time of day? Is there a certain chair, TV programme, or routine that triggers the habit? Do you buy alcohol automatically when you shop? Do certain people encourage you to drink, even when you've told them you want to stop? Your mid-year reset may involve changing some of these patterns, such as taking a different route home, avoiding the alcohol aisle in the shop, planning something for the hour when cravings usually arrive, keeping alcohol-free drinks available at home, spending time with people who respect your decision, and perhaps avoid the people who encourage you to drink. You're not weak because your surroundings affect you. All human behaviour is influenced by cues and routines, so changing the environment can make recovery easier. It's also important to notice what you've already achieved. Perhaps you've had more alcohol-free days this year than last year. Maybe you've started questioning your drinking instead of denying it. Perhaps you've got into a great routine of listening to recovery podcasts, joining a support group, reading relevant books, or speaking honestly to other people who understand. Maybe you've had a relapse, but returned to recovery more quickly than you did before. These things do matter, because recovery often begins quietly. It begins with awareness, with discomfort, with the sense that something needs to change. It begins when the part of you that wants freedom becomes stronger than the part of you that wants to keep hiding. Even listening to this podcast may be part of your recovery. You are not starting again from nothing. Sometimes when people begin again, they say, I'm back at square one. But remember, you're not. You are beginning again with more knowledge about your triggers or about situations that are difficult. You might know now about support systems that can help you and which ones don't. You might understand more about the consequences of drinking and the benefits of sobriety. You are not the same person you were at the beginning of the year. Every attempt has taught you something. Every alcohol-free day has shown you that change is possible. Every difficult experience has given you information that can strengthen your next step. So here's your invitation for today. Take 10 quiet minutes to yourself. Perhaps make a cup of tea, sit somewhere comfortable, and ask yourself these 3 questions. How is alcohol affecting my life at the moment? What do I need more of in order to feel supported? What is one action I can take today? So you don't need to make a complicated plan. You don't need to demand perfection from yourself. Just choose the next right action. That might be pouring away the alcohol, calling a friend, going to a meeting, booking an appointment, writing down your reasons for wanting to change, or simply deciding that just for today you will not drink. Remember, your recovery doesn't need a dramatic starting point. It can begin in an ordinary moment. In the middle of the week, the middle of the year, it can begin today. So thank you for listening to the Alcohol Recovery Show today. And please do remember, if you are physically dependent on alcohol, stopping suddenly can be dangerous. So please do speak to a doctor or qualified alcohol service for advice about reducing or stopping safely. So wherever you are on your recovery journey, please be gentle with yourself, stay connected, and keep taking the next small step. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Until next week, thanks so much for being here. Bye for now. Bye.